Mike Mollo's 27, which is very young for a rising heavyweight. The division tends to be dominated by fighters past 30. A 3-inch height advantage for Golota. Arm length advantage of 1.5 inches measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Golota weighed in at 237. He's in shape. Mollo is a bouncy, vibrant, hard-hitting 222. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Andrew Golota Mike Mollo fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules that you see on your screen. Jim, real quick, the 4 criteria that the judges will use to score each individual round: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense, with a strong emphasis on clean, effective punching. Jim!
Let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Madison-Square-Garden, Don King Productions presents a special heavyweight title unification contest. Sponsored by Ciroc Vodka, Papa John's Pizza, Down South Boxing, and Coleman for the Cure, the fight to cure cancer. At ringside, the 3 judges assigned scoring this bout, all from New York: Bob Gilson, Tom Schreck, and Robin Taylor. And inside the ring, your referee in charge of the action from New Jersey, former heavyweight contender Randy Newman. And now 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF North American and the WBA Federación Latina Heavyweight Championship. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black, official weight 222 pounds. Professional record 19 victories, including 12 knockouts, only 1 defeat. From the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, the defending WBA Federación Latina Heavyweight Champion, Merciless Mike Mollo. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing white with black, official weight 237 pounds. His professional record, 40 victories, including 33 knockouts, 6 defeats with 1 bout even and 1 no contest. Originally from Warsaw, Poland, now fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, the defending IBF North American Heavyweight Champion, Andrew Golota.
Okay, gentlemen, you're thoroughly familiar with the rules as we've gone over them. I want you to remember 2 things. I want you to obey my commands, and most importantly, defend yourselves at all times. You got that? All right, shake hands and come out at the bell. Let's go.
Mike Mollo is a heavyweight in a super heavyweight era, but he attacks like some old school heavyweights, and when he gets his guy hurt, if he gets Golota hurt here, I think you're going to like him.
And Golota has historically been known as a slow starter. Some of his most embarrassing losses was when he was coming out slow in the very first round to fight with Lamont Brewster and also with Lennox Lewis.
Both are here partially because of victories over Kevin McBride. Golota was rocked in the first round by McBride, lasted until the 6th, and then knocked McBride out. Mollo jumped on McBride in the first round, nearly annihilated him in round 1, ultimately knocked him out in round 2. Mollo's trying to do the same thing to Golota that he did to McBride. Jump him early and take him out before he can get going. Mollo will have trouble if Golota can get his excellent jab going.
And so far, that's been the most effective punch in the fight, even though it's only maybe 2 landed, but the jab has landed. And at least Mollo is smart enough to realize that he wasn't landing any effective blows, so now he's gotten away and is taking his time. But Golota looks so slow still.
See Mollo moving counterclockwise away from Golota's big right hand.
If you're looking for an illustration of the notion that life can afford 2nd, 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th chances, there could be no better illustration of that than Andrew Golota. and the fact that Golota still may have a remote chance of fighting for real prominence in the heavyweight division. July of 1996, disqualified here while leading Riddick Bowe and headed toward victory in the 7th round for hitting him with low blows. 4 months later in Atlantic City, disqualified in the 9th round while leading Bowe, annihilating him, headed for the heavyweight championship, but disqualified ignominiously for low blows. 1997, 1 year later, knocked out in the 1st round by Lennox Lewis when he showed up 45 minutes late to the arena for the fight. November of 1999, quit in the 10th round while leading Michael Grant, and having been knocked down once by Grant, well ahead on the scorecards, turned his back on the referee, refused to keep fighting. In October of 2000, quit after 2 rounds against Mike Tyson, walked out of the ring and back to his dressing room, later ruled a no contest because Tyson tested positive for marijuana. May of 05, knocked out in the 1st round by Layman Brewster, 53 seconds, in fact, at a moment when Golota had a chance to fight for a heavyweight belt in his American hometown of Chicago. And still we're getting Andrew Golota on a pay-per-view card.
And I was going to really say, even though he looks a little slow, he looks his age 40, with all that about him, he's actually winning this fight. Basically,
and there's blood.
His jab.
There's blood on the forehead of Mike Mollo above his right eyebrow, which may be the product of Golota's stiff jab.
His jab, yes. And Golota's putting a lot of pressure. Normally he stands up in one spot, but he's actually putting a lot of pressure in today.
Listen to me. You're backing up. You can't back up, okay? Take a deep breath. Listen to me. The jab's working good, Michael. Gotta come forward. The overhand right's there. Come up the middle. When you get inside, Michael, don't tie him. Shoot the uppercut. It's right there, okay? Breathe. Ready? Doing good. Relax and drink a little bit. How do you feel? Good. Hands down. Give me a deep breath now. Ready?
Michael, drop your hands. Keep them up. Just stay relaxed. Don't get tight. You hear me? I want you to start using feints. See, he's real low. When you throw that right hand, you come off the middle. Okay? Okay.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
CompuBox numbers in round 1 favored Mollo because of his early assault and volume punching at that time. But by the end of the round, it was clearly Golota who was backing Mollo up and in control. You heard Mike Mollo's corner telling him, you cannot back up, you must go forward. And I think against a fighter like Golota and Golota's range and his long arm power, that's probably true.
I mean, I don't know. They may have given it. I gave it round to Golota. I saw Mollo throw a lot of punches, but they were not landing.
I agree.
It was very similar to the Ricky Hatton and Mayweather situation, but the clean punches were landed by Golota in that round.
Mollo had the right idea. He came out attacking Golota, trying to convince Golota that he couldn't win and see if he could make him quit. None of the body punches that I saw landed. Golota seemed to pick him off with his elbows. And now Mollo is forced to box him and to work his way inside.
Golota, you never know what's going to happen in a fight. At any moment in time, anything unexpected can happen.
There have been moments, not whole fights, but moments in his career when he looked like maybe the best heavyweight in the world. There have been moments when he's been so bad you're wondering why he's still in the sport. Anything is possible with Andrew Golota.
Hey, don't punch.
Golota's also imposing for a little guy.
Let's go.
Against a little guy like Chris Bird, for instance, whom he fought to a draw. But Mollo is a puncher.
All right, don't punch. Let him out.
Yeah, 6'1", 221-pound Mike Mollo. That's Mike Tyson at the peak of his career, 221 pounds.
What Mike got away with the short in size with tremendous blazing speed. And it's very seldom you find anyone, even though Mollo's aggressive, he doesn't have the speed that Mike Tyson had. The speed offset the disadvantage he had in his height.
And let's face it, when Tyson first rose to the top of the division, hard right hand. Yeah. Mollo's in trouble. He reaches out and grabs Golota and pulls him in.
Golota's been finding a hole right through the center with that jab consistently. It's the most effective punch in the entire fight has been his jab. And then now he's putting the right hand right behind the jab. Watch, everything is between the gloves. He's hitting Mollo right through the center with most of his shots.
don't punch. Don't punch, don't punch, don't punch. Good work, good work. Let's go.
Originally from Warsaw, of course, Golota has huge followings in major American cities where there are concentrations of Polish-American immigrants, Polish-American families. New York is one of those places. There are quite a lot of Andrew Golota fans in the Garden here tonight, and you can hear them as he bats Mike Mollo around in the second round.
Take a deep breath. Give me the water. Deep breath. Deep breath. Deep breath. Give me this towel. Give me this towel. Mike, listen, everyone be quiet, please. Michael, do me a big favor. Don't back up. When you back up, you catch you with the right hand. You gotta come forward, Michael. You're giving him too much respect. Listen to me. Double jab, overhand right, come with the hook. Michael, he throws the right hand. Roll to your left and throw the hook. It's there. It's there. Mike, you gotta start going upstairs. Up the middle, exactly. This round, I want you to start going to your right. You stand in front.
Start popping that jab more, you hear me? Start popping the jab.
Here you see Golota opening up a hole with his jab and shooting right hand right through the center. And unless Mollo can come up with some way to stop that punch, it's going to continue to be an effective punch all night. He gets hit right between his gloves.
Well, that's another difference between Mollo and the similarly sized Tyson is that when Mike rose to the top of the division, he had fantastic head movement. His head was never still.
Yes. In this case here, Mollo does not hit him. And in fact, plan B, I don't know if he can do it. He should be trying to box, but I don't think he can box. At this stage, he needs to try to move because he's not going to just physically overpower Golota, I don't think.
Well, you heard his trainer, Mike Garcia, between rounds, asking him for a variety of different things. And I have to confess, my thought was, I wonder if he's trying to put too many different thoughts into the head of the fighter all at once. He asked Mollo to move to his left, don't back up, don't show him so much respect, throw such and such a combination. It was a lot of different inputs all at once.
Well, it's a lot of time that the corners panic themselves. I mean, this is something they're not prepared for. This is totally, they never even imagined this. And so they can't even think properly themselves right now.
You know, it looks to me like Mollo's trying to do the right things, move his head, get low to avoid punches. But it's like he has to think about it first, like it's not muscle memory yet.
Let him go, Andrew. Let him go,
and
Mark.
his two best wins against, I mean, there are worse fighters than Kevin McBride and Art Binkowski, but Golota's not one of them. And those are Mollo's two best wins.
Indeed.
You never know what can happen in the Golota fight, as I said earlier. It's full of surprises.
Don't punch.
And Mollo's not unbeaten, incidentally. He has a loss on his record. It was to DeVarrell Williamson. Now, if you go to sleep on a right hand from DeVarrell Williamson, that's no embarrassment because everybody knows DeVarrell's a big puncher. But on the other hand, DeVarrell's never going to be one of the top heavyweights in the world, so if he's beaten you, you've got to get better than that.
All right, break your tight. Step back, don't punch.
We've also seen from Golota when he had Bo in serious trouble, and just from Bo's heart, just Bo's refusal to lose, he won the fight. Golota essentially disqualified himself because Bo refused to be broken by him. So you can never tell with Golota.
Michael Grant beat him by throwing one punch after being outfought constantly for 9 rounds.
You know, this Golota, even though he may be slow, he's doing one thing. He's doing right through the center. He's found an opportunity, and he's punching right between that gap. And Mollo doesn't have any defense. He's not rolling the punch. He's not slipping the punch. He's just hoping that he doesn't get hit, and that's it. And he's getting right between the center of the gloves.
All right, don't punch. Don't punch. Don't punch. All right, stop pushing. Stop pushing.
And Golota is so strong that even though he doesn't seem to generate any real hand speed with his right hand, you can tell that it hurts people.
He's a big man. 240 pounds.
Big legs, puncher's legs.
And incidentally, looks to be in pretty good shape. You know, you've seen a lot of heavyweights in worse shape than this.
Mollo got in the left hand well after the bell. And Golota looks around as if to say, why is it always me?
Stay relaxed. Hey, You're keeping your right hand nice. That's why I want it. You hear me? Take a deep breath, let it out slow. I want that right hand up there. Listen to me, listen to me. Listen to me, I want more combinations. Can you do that for me?
Okay.
Huh?
What?
Throw the right hand, throw the right uppercut, the right hook. When you're inside, okay? You had him hurt. You had him hurt with the right hand.
Here you see Golota landing his pet punch for this fight, the right hand right between the gloves, right through the center. And here you see a little accidental fracas after the bell. I don't think it was intentional.
3 rounds in the books. We get to the 4th round of this heavyweight confrontation between Mike Mollo in the black trunks, Andrew Golota in the white. Harold, how do you have it?
Okay, Jim. 2 rounds to 1. 29-28. Andrew Golota. Jim, I gotta tell you, Andrew Golota, you know, I thought he lost the first round because Mollo outworked him so badly early in the first round. But rounds 2 and 3, Golota with that left jab and that straight right hand. Andrew Golota, I tell you why he belongs on a pay-per-view show, because he sells tickets, that's why. But anyway, Andrew Golota doing a real nice job, landing the cleaner, harder shots. He's got to stop sticking his tongue out. If he keeps doing that, I swear to God, he's liable to bite it. 2-1, Golota.
All right, Bryce, don't punch. Step back.
Oh.
Let him go.
Mollo is starting to show fatigue, and I think Golota is studying his face and seeing it and looking in his eyes, and he's going to start stepping it up a little bit more because he sees he's getting tired.
You mean you think Golota's going to step it up?
Golota's going to step it up. Golota can see. You see there, he tried to anticipate him bending down and threw a right uppercut at where he thought his head was going to be.
Hard right hand by Mollo. His best punch of the fight. Body shot. 2 in a row. See if Mollo can get in something else upstairs by focusing on the body and bringing Golota's hands down. Now Andrew hits him with the right hand, and they clinch.
If you have heart, you can beat Golota. And in that way, he's an interesting litmus test.
Hard right hand by Mollo. Fight has changed significantly in the last 20 seconds. Now Golota comes in and busts Mike with the right hand. And Mollo smiles at me under Golota's arm, as if to say, okay, things are going better now.
Low blow from Golota.
Now there's a shot,
and it looked intentional.
It was more on the belt line type. It wasn't on, it was on the side. It was on the side.
If by belt line you mean his knee.
Yeah, it was on the side.
I looked pretty low to me, man.
Well, if you followed the sequence of events between Golota and Bo back in 1996, Golota had 2 chances to become the heavyweight champion of the world and blew them both with low blows. You may recall that the people at main events where Golota was promoted at the time, trainer Lou Duva, went to all sorts of extreme measures trying to train him out of throwing low blows. Developing apparati in the gym that were aimed at curbing the low blow instinct and taking all sorts of other measures in sparring to try to stop it. And he simply couldn't stop doing it.
You ever see Mollo in him?
When that happens, you gotta grab this guy. You understand? Don't try to grab him when you're hurt. And keep your hands up. Yeah, you gotta bend your knees. You're too straight up. Start using your jab and start going to the body more.
And you heard him? Come on. Don't worry about the rounds. Listen to me. Look at me. Drop the rounds.
Pull his trunks.
Listen. Take a deep breath.
Pull his trunks.
Here you see Mollo then a tremendous right hand right over Golota's left shoulder. Here he comes right back with the same punch again, almost identical punch. And here you see him come back to the end of the round with another right hand. The biggest concern right now is how much stamina does he have, because he seems to be weakening as the fight's going on. So if he goes another 2 or 3 rounds, it's going to be very interesting to see where he stands in terms of his conditioning.
Step back, don't punch.
By him, you mean Mollo? Or
Mollo's conditioning.
Well, he's not too tired to be listening to the commentary. Clearly, he's paying attention to what we're saying about him over here as the fight progresses.
Let him go, don't punch, don't walk him, let's go, let go of the ropes.
Just to button up the body punching or the low blow story regarding Golota, and I was speaking at the end of the last round about all the measures that his trainer went to in 1996 to try to get him to stop throwing low blows. There was a moment in the second Golota-Bo fight, and Golota was just beating the living heck out of Bo and ran into the low blow trouble again. And Lou Duva said, just don't throw another body punch. Not a single body punch. Don't even try it.
Let's go.
And he couldn't do that.
Well, it wasn't an issue of Golota wandering low. He intentionally hit Bo low in full view of the ref because he didn't want any more. Because Bo, just because he was still there throwing punches, took his heart.
Amazing. Because Golota in that fight, the second hard right hand by Mollo. In the second fight with Bo, he landed more power punches than any heavyweight has ever absorbed in any other fight tracked by CompuBox. And that was in fewer than 10 rounds.
Get out of there, get out of there. Let go of his hand.
It's kind of unfair to a guy like Golota because we expect of fighters to literally be willing to die. You know, if a fighter quits before he's carried out, we hold it against him. And Golota's reaction to these situations is a very human reaction. It's the way most of us would react. We just expect more of prize fighters.
But you know, Golota's throwing those. That was his way of quitting.
Let him out.
And he did that in a lot of fights. Even with Grant, he just tells the referee, I quit. The referee says, you can't. He says, I'm gone. With Tyson, just when Mike was starting to get tired, he went to the round and told the trainer when he took his mouthpiece, he said, you can keep the mouthpiece. I'm going to the locker room.
Andrew Golota's left eye has suddenly badly swelled up, guys. It happened in a matter of seconds while he was facing away from us. If you get a good look at Golota's left eye now, it's dramatic how much it's changed in the last round. And that's from the right hands thrown by Mike Mollo. That left eye is shut.
Shut. Badly.
That's astonishing.
That's it, you're tired. Don't punch anymore, step back.
I mean, I've seen Vladimir Klitschko's eyes swell up in a hurry, but nothing like that.
I've never saw anything like that. I don't even know what could have caused it.
And here's Golota. Let's give him credit. Punching back.
Absolutely. Still fighting. Well, he can't see his eye. He doesn't know how bad it looks.
You can see him reaching. He can feel it, though.
You know, if I'm training Mike Mollo, I only say one thing to him.
All right, you're tired.
Stay in the
Let
fight.
go.
Stay on your feet.
Keep throwing right hands.
Keep throwing that right hand.
And you know, it's interesting. Mollo probably could do something with a jab if he would use it.
Now let's see what Sam Colonna and company can do about Golota's eye over in that corner. Cut man is Jim Strickland, a veteran and one of the better guys in the business, but I don't see Jim Strickland over there.
No, it's great. I think.
That's Sam Colonna who's doing the cut work on Golota now.
Give him the water. Andrew, how you feeling? Feel okay?
Andrew, you got to watch that right hand when he puts his head down. You hear me?
Okay.
He's coming around with it. Okay? You got to get up first. Try. Start using that jab and walk around. Walk around him. Don't stay right in front of him.
Here you see the right hand. Well, I don't know if this is the one that really caused the damage, but it seems like that's the one that should have did it because nothing was wrong with the eye before that punch landed.
Clearly, that was the shot.
CompuBox averages through 5 rounds. Golota 18 out of 57, Mollo 18 out of 47. So they're both landing the same average number of punches per round.
All right, hold. Break. Don't hit him. All right, work out.
So now would be a good time to go back to the late first round strategy Mollo showed, moving to his right away from Golota's right hand that Golota's been able to land, and into Golota's blind spot, the left eye.
Don't push him.
What he needs to do is keep throwing those right hands. It's been effective. That's the only punch he's landed effectively. Just keep throwing them.
Right, don't punch.
That's a jab right there.
Right, don't punch.
Mollo comes from a deep family fighting background. His uncle, John Mollo, qualified for the United States Olympic team, was unable to go to the Olympics as an amateur fighter. Both his grandfather and his great-grandfather, according to Mike, were United States Navy boxing champions.
Wait, don't punch. Don't punch.
Played high school football, played high school basketball, wrestled, was a prominent wrestler in state rankings, but all along, he says, his love was boxing.
All right, don't
This
punch,
while growing up in Oak Lawn, Illinois.
The fact that both of these guys really live in Chicago, even though they say he's from, you know, Poland for Golota. I was interested to see if they had ever boxed with each other in the gyms in Chicago, but they say, no, that had never happened.
Mollo had a series of punches right on Golota's belt line.
Don't lean on him. Let him out, let him out. Nice and clean.
Heavyweight fight, heavyweight referee Randy Newman, himself a former heavyweight fighter.
All right, let him go, stop pushing. Fight. Wait, don't punch, you're tied up. Don't lean on him. Wait, don't punch, don't punch.
Those body shots are affecting Mollo. Left and rights to the body from Golota.
Mollo even said something to Golota about it after the second big body shot. February 23 will be a special night of boxing on HBO. On the East Coast, it's the premiere of the film Joe Louis, America's Hero, Betrayed, followed by Klitschko versus Ibragimov live from Madison-Square-Garden. On the West Coast, it's the live fight, followed by the Joe Louis film.
Bring your feet out. Bring your feet
Mike,
out. And when he's leaning there, throw the right uppercut. Now, you hearing me? Come on, don't aim. Let's go. Get your shit in there. You hear me? What you want to win? I want you to throw that right hand. You hear me? But watch what he ducks. He's going to throw that overhand right. Don't let him do it.
There's so many mysterious elements of Andrew Golota's character. Through his whole career, I've watched so many conversations between Golota and trainers in the corner. You never even tell if he's actually listening. He never acknowledges to the trainer that he hears what he says. Seventh round of a scheduled 12. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim, 57, 57, 3 rounds apiece. I got it all even. You know, Jim, in rounds 2 and 3, Andrew Golota looked real good. He outworked him. He threw a lot of punches. Then all of a sudden, he started to lay on him, like he's doing right now. In other words, grabbing, holding, not doing much, letting Mollo outwork him, just like you see now. But in round 6, Mike Mollo looked like he was out of gas. He was huffing and puffing, and Golota hit him with some real good shots.
But he's out.
3 rounds apiece.
Don't punch.
Yeah, but right now, Mollo seems to be starting to outwork Golota. They're just barely missing Golota with their right hand.
Let him out. Don't hit him. Hey, don't hit him.
Golota is getting there, but he just isn't getting his clean punches off the way he was the first 3 rounds.
Don't punch, Jen. Don't punch.
The subtext, of course, as you watch a young prospect like Mike Mollo is, who is the next great American heavyweight? Where does he come from? Interestingly, Mollo is trying to sort of take a place in the heavyweight division that was occupied a few years ago by an American fighter named Joe Macy from Buffalo. Macy was unbeaten, like Mollo. Mollo is almost unbeaten. Mollo has the 1 loss, but Macy was unbeaten. Macy was handsome, dark-haired, Italian-American like Mollo, had a great deal going for him, wound up bleeding from the brain after a fight with Vasily Girov in Las Vegas, and ultimately doctors in America have ruled that Joe Macy should not be fighting. He's trying to rekindle his boxing career in Canada. 2 days ago, Joe Macy, who's never met Mike Mollo, called him on the phone to wish him luck in this fight. It's almost as though Joe has made the same connection I've just made between himself and Mollo. And incidentally, Joe Macy's a terrific guy. great young man, and we all root and hope for him to get whatever he wants in life, whether it means boxing or not.
I'd say also Macy was had a better amateur pedigree than Mollo, but Mollo, like Macy's, really charismatic, very likable.
Yeah, Macy was clearly the better, purer boxer of the two. Mollo's still learning.
And showing a lot of heart here against a big guy who's hurt him to the head and body over the first 7 rounds of this fight. And yet it's Mollo who continues to make the fight. The real question is, where does Mollo fit in? Not with the super heavyweights, but with the heavyweights like the guys we're going to see next week, Povetkin and Chambers, the 225-pounders and below. They're more advanced than he is, but I don't think it's out of the question that he could join the elite ranks of 225-pound-ish fighters.
And, of course, the mention of Eddie Chambers takes us right back to that subtext of who's the next good American, who's the next American who really means something in the heavyweight division. Moments ago, in Tito Trinidad's locker room, Arthur Mercanti Jr.'s official instructions to Trinidad.
Good evening, gentlemen. You the chief second. Tito, we've been here before. Make it short and sweet. I expect a nice, clean fight, okay? Let's give these people what they came to see, a great fight. God bless. Good luck to you all. Good luck. Good luck, gentlemen.
Get a look at the hand wrapping, Emmanuel. What do you think of this so far?
He's wrapping it very, very good. And no.
Do you think that's an excess of gauze?
To me, it would appear to yes.
So, in other words, if you were observing from Roy Jones's dressing room, you would turn to the commission at this point and say, "I think he's using too much."
You know, I like to see the fighters' hands wrapped any kind of way they can wrap it. I don't care. To me, if it was up to me, you could have 3 rolls of it. I wouldn't just protect the fighter's hand. And the more they put on is actually just extra weight. I have never had no problems with fighters, as long as they don't have anything like a cast steel plaster of Paris.
Plaster of Paris.
That's the worst thing. But other than that, if you need 5 rolls to protect your fighter's hand, go ahead. And I was in the dressing room when Winky Wright and Jermaine Taylor was fighting. And I was in Winky's dressing room. And they asked, so we put a little tape tight across this area here. I'd say as long as you're not touching the skin, go ahead. Whatever you have to do, I told him, go ahead to protect your fighter's hands away.
Left hook lands for Mollo.
Right, don't punch, stop.
Max, what's the most egregious case of loaded gloves you think you've ever heard or known of?
Well, I mean, you don't know if it's true or not, but of course the rumors that Dempsey had plaster of Paris in his wraps when he fought Jess Willard and knocked him down, I think, about 1,000,000 times, knocked his teeth out, broke his ribs.
July 4, 1919, Toledo, Ohio. Broke 3 ribs and knocked out 5 teeth in the first round. And somehow Willard made it to the 3rd.
Willard had a lot of heart, outweighed Dempsey by about 70 pounds, but that's never been verified that Dempsey had plaster of Paris. It's just a rumor.
Let him go.
And incidentally, of course, one of the reasons for that rumor and that charge against Dempsey was that he was beating the living hell out of and knocking out a man who weighed 58 pounds more than he did that day.
One of that clip of Dempsey attacking Willard was how I fell in love with boxing as a little boy, Jim. Believe I saw it on HBO.
Savage a beating as anyone has ever taken.
I think Golota caught him with a body punch maybe about 45 seconds earlier and hurt Mollo, and he hasn't still recuperated from that body punch yet. Meaning Mollo hasn't recuperated.
But he's working harder than Golota. He's throwing more punches.
No one's landing too many really clean, effective blows for the most part. But right now, Mollo just keeps bending down, and that, in the course of a fight, that starts tiring you because there's bigger guys leaning over top of you every time you go into a clinch, and it starts draining your strength.
Yeah, it's been the story of the last 2 or 3 rounds is the constant leaning against each other, and there's no way Mollo can win that battle.
Yeah.
Seems to me Golota should be concentrating on Mollo's body. It's there for him, and when Golota's attacked it, he's been successful.
Both guys probably looking for a second win, but Golota, through all the experience he's had, can fight quite a few rounds just on natural experience, with automatic power, because all of the fights he's had. Whereas a young, inexperienced fighter, once he gets tired, he can't do that.
This is been a pretty good round for Anджеем Голотой, and Майк Молло is going to have to find a second wind somewhere to carry him down the stretch of the fight. And Mollo looks exhausted as he walks to his corner at the end of that one. Meanwhile, let's go back to the dressing room. Arthur McCanty Jr.'s instructions to Roi Jones Jr.
Good evening, champ. I'm your referee tonight. I'm going to make it short and sweet. It's your show. Let's give these people what they came to see, a great fight, okay? Good luck. Any questions? No questions. Okay. Good luck, gentlemen. God bless.
Thank you, Wes. Thank you.
Roi Jones, after 2 wins in the last 2 years against Prince Badi Ajamu and Anthony Hanshaw, back in the spotlight, back in the world's most glamorous arena, and looking to get back near the pinnacle of the sport. He says if Bernard Hopkins and Joe Calzaghe can't make a deal to fight each other, he'll go on the plane to Wales tomorrow and fight Calzaghe in Wales, which of course is a direct reversal of the kinds of things he said throughout his tour of duty as the #1 fighter in the sport, when he never would have gone to Poland to fight Dariusz Michalczewski in what was an obvious matchup for boxing.
I think part of Roi Jones' reluctance to travel overseas had to do with his experience in Seoul in the Olympics. And Roi felt that so long as he was the champ, whether recognized by everyone or not, he wasn't going to travel abroad to Germany in the case of Michalczewski, actually, where he was fighting out at the time, and risk being ripped off again.
Agreed.
Good. But in the meantime up here, Mollo is really showing his fatigue right here. And Golota is taking advantage of him. And every time, as I said, they get in close, Mollo has a tendency to keep bending down, and it's taking his effect right now.
And Golota's left eye
completely shot
is the most grotesque thing we've seen in the ring since Vitaly Klitschko against Lennox Lewis a few years ago, and somehow he's still going. Although surely he cannot see out of that left eye.
In the face of a determined opponent who's still there. Give Golota some credit.
So could it be that at age 40, Golota has grown a heart?
You know, the old custom motto is if you're born round, you don't die square. And, you know, maybe, look, it doesn't apply to everybody. There have been examples in boxing of guys who have
been round and had a square night.
Hey, Vitaly Klitschko was criticized for lacking heart early in his career, and by the time he hung it up the first time, was lauded for the heart he showed against Lennox Lewis.
Indeed. Well, I think that was partially a product of what you talked about before. That in American culture, for sure, we expect the fighter to go out on his shield, to fight in effect to the death. Vitaly Klitschko reflected the different, more clinical Eastern European ethic when he retired against Chris Bird with an injured shoulder rather than to risk continuing to aggravate the injury as the fight went on. It was just one night.
He thought it was one fight. It was silly him. He thought it was an athletic competition. Vitaly Klitschko needed to acclimate himself to the culture of this country and what we expect.
And his feelings were hurt. And they were hurt enough that when he got into the same situation against Lennox, he simply wasn't going to back down.
And Mollo's hurt right here and tired.
He's tired. Even Golota has no really punching power too much. It's just exhaustion.
But Golota caught Mollo with a couple clean right hands.
Beautiful right hand, yeah.
And I think Golota is the reason Mollo's still up.
That's
Mike
right.
is using him for support.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd have been on the canvas.
And if Golota could just take a half a step back and go forward and then jump back, it's exhaustion.
Huge left hook by Golota. Pretty good left hook by Mollo.
And Mollo's still throwing punches out on his feet.
Crowd loves it. And Mollo doesn't know where his corner is. Almost went to Golota's corner.
Hey, how do you feel? Tell me right now. Good. Okay, why are you staying up with him? You got to roll to your left. Michael. Mike.
Oh, I'm good.
Michael, I'm going to stop this fight if you don't show me something, Michael. Why? Michael, look.
3 rounds.
No, look at me. Roll to your fucking left away from the right hand. Come with the hook if you're not going to move. You're not throwing your overhand right. You're not throwing your hook. You're staying right in front of the fucking right hand. Look at me. When you're inside, I can see the fucking right hand back with the hook.
Use the jab. The jab is starting everything. Let's go.
Here you see at the end of the round, Golota lands a tremendous left hand. Left hook coming right through the center between the gloves.
Power shots in the 9th round. Golota 31 out of 54. Mollo 13 out of 39. Some of them were just wild swings by Mollo, keeping his arms going, even though he doesn't have any balance or feel for what he's doing at that moment. Harold Letterman, how do you have it through now?
Okay, Jim. 87, 84, 6 rounds to 3. Andrew Golota. Jim, since Mike Mollo got exhausted in round 6, Andrew Golota's taken over this fight. Even with one eye, outworks him, outpunches him in every round. Landing the cleaner, harder shots. Mollo just about out in the 9th round. 6 to 3, Golota.
I'm in here.
I'm very impressed by what I'm seeing from Mollo in the sense that,
you
know, the Vince Lombardi does not apply to him. He's fatigued, and I don't see any cowardice at all. I see a lot of heart from this guy.
And he lands a left hook. Doesn't have much on it because his feet weren't set.
He almost fell down himself after landing because his legs were just shot down.
Don't punch, right. It goes on, it goes on.
That's a great point, Emmanuel. Mollo almost knocked himself down by landing a punch.
All right. Stop this shit. One more, you're gonna get a point. Stop the shit. Let him go, let him go, let him go.
Come on, everyone, 2, let's go.
Let him go, let him go.
You know, ostensibly the winner of this fight figures as a possible opponent down the road for the winner of the fight between Sam Peter and Oleg Moskayev for a heavyweight title belt, which at this moment makes it look as though Andrew Golota is going to get about his 1,000th shot.
Don't punch.
At becoming a heavyweight title.
Yeah, his punches are just so slow, but he's doing all the right things. He just can't do it with the speed that I would like to see him do it with.
The 14 people who still care about these meaningless title belts will consider Golota a champ if he were to win one.
Right, don't punch, don't punch. Right.
Meanwhile, the best heavyweight in the world appears to be Vladimir Klitschko. And if he would have a rematch with Sam Peter and beat him, he'd be recognized as the champ.
Or if he had been born in Nebraska, he would be recognized as the champ, or any of 49 other American states.
Andrew, we need these next 2 rounds, you hear me? We need these rounds. Very close fight. We can't let him have it. You got to start with that jab and get your hands up. Keep your hands up.
Yeah.
11 to 12. Let's go.
Andrew, I need to see your eye.
Come on up.
Okay.
How many down? How many down?
Come on.
He was almost down.
Andrew, you had him every round, but you let him come back. Don't get stupid. Keep your hands up. You hear me? Pop the jab more. You hear me? Let's go. I bet you want this.
Let's go, gentlemen.
Hey, you got to want this more than him. You understand? Come on.
CompuBox numbers average per round through 10. Now Golota is pulling ahead, 20 out of 55 and 17 out of 46. CompuBox numbers won't mean much these last 2 rounds. This should be about heart, will, courage, desire, and whether anybody has any legs left.
Well, Golota's legs, he's just slow, but his legs are there. But it's interesting, after most of all of his career, he's been the villain, and seeing his face like it is tonight and under these conditions, you know, I can't help but sympathize that he's become my hero tonight.
I'm here.
You look at all of the things that he's been through still, and he's still here fighting a fighter with his reflexes, meaning Golota's is gone, but he's still fighting a very smart fight.
You are as warm and loving as a puppy dog, Emmanuel.
Right, don't punch, get up. don't punch.
Yes.
Golota still trying to swing, excuse me, Mollo trying to swing from the heels. Can't find Golota, who's right in front of him.
But Mollo has great recuperative powers when he goes to he makes it barely to the end of the round, but after that he comes back and he starts off again, doing very well. If he would move to his right more and keep throwing right hands on the side, I think he would be very effective. And
that's what the trainer said.
And could win these next 2 rounds, which possibly could win the fight. I don't know what the official score is.
It's going to be next 1 round after this one.
Break, don't punch. Don't punch. Get off the ropes.
I don't know when I've seen a heavyweight as exhausted within the context of a fight as Mike Mollo.
For so many rounds now. He's been totally exhausted for about 5 straight rounds.
But he comes back the next round after barely making it through, and he's right back at it again. But Golota's because Golota still is so slow. Even though Mollo's tired, Golota really can't get off the punches the way he should.
This is the first time in Mike Mollo's career that he's ever been beyond the 8th round. This his 21st professional fight.
Let's go. Let him out.
But he was alert enough to know exactly how many rounds were left, and he told his trainer after the 9th, hey, I got 3 rounds left. Shown a lot of heart, not enough skill.
Let him go.
Now Golota looks for a moment as though he's just going to push Mollo out of the ring.
The idea is you can teach skill, but the kind of courage that Mollo is showing tonight, I don't think it can be taught.
Typical ending of a round.
Give me a bucket. Hands up. Put your head down. Michael, we need this round big time. You want to win this fight? Show me it. Michael, you're not going upstairs with the big shots. The hook, the right hand, it's there for you.
Faster than usual. Because you're finishing big, but you're starting slow. It's got to be the opposite. You hear me? Last round, we need this round. You hear me? Start working that jab 1-2. And when you got him hurts, don't get stupid, but get smart. And don't wait.
You gotta throw punches, throw everything.
Big round. You caught it body twice, come upstairs, okay? Come on now, boy. Seconds out, go! Seconds out!
Keep the right hand up there. Let's go, you can do it.
Sam Golota training Golota tonight was in Mollo's corner when Mollo knocked out McBride to set this shot up last year. Sam Golota's a guy who's never had much of a reputation, not that well known outside of Chicago. We've seen him many times at HBO, and he's usually on the winning side of the legend. Knows how to train fighters.
But he's a legend in Chicago now.
Nearly 20 years removed from his life in Warsaw, Poland. And in his 48th professional fight, Andzej Golota, amazingly, keeps alive the chance to someday fight for the heavyweight championship again, or a heavyweight championship, or a heavyweight title again. And who would have thought it possible after the number of times he has flunked out?
You know, these guys are fighting a very sloppy fight, but most of us will never know the level of physical exhaustion and desperation that these guys are experiencing right now, and in that way, it's a real spectacle.
It's another world.
Go, watch your hand,
Not to mention, how many of us would go in and take a punch with our eye looking the way Golota's eye looks? Mollo's
hurt badly.
Yeah, it's going to be an adventure just for him to finish the fight.
But he's doing what he should do. He's clinching and tying up the guy. He doesn't back away when he gets hurt. He just tries to go in and smother him. As long as he's holding on to him, he doesn't give Golota any room to get punched in room.
Yeah, but all that's going to do for him, Emmanuel, is prevent him from getting knocked out. It's hard to imagine that he still has any chance to win the fight unless he himself can find a way to knock out the foul pole. Hard left-hand shot by Golota. What guts it takes for Mollo to make it through this.
Newman almost knocked him out.
Was there any reason to stop this fight?
No.
Randy Newman did the right thing by letting Mollo
He did a good job in this fight here. Sloppy, but you still couldn't stop it.
Well, it was supposed to be, it was set up to be a potential big step forward for a 27-year-old, attractive, American, potential heavyweight figure. Somebody who could have produced some interesting fights down the road, and who knows, maybe he still will. If there's a division in which you get lots of chances, this is the one. But Mike Mollo seems to have become the opposite of what he was supposed to be, a stepping stone for Andrew Golota.
Indeed, and you have to give Golota a lot of credit for staying in there in spite of the eye. He was clearly tired. It looked like he was shook up several times in the face of a determined opponent, an unusually determined opponent who was supposed to beat him. He kept fighting.
Judges for this fight: Bob Gilson, not terribly experienced. Had Larry Donald over Evander Holyfield, anyone could have scored that. Tom Schreck, 7 title fights. Had Miguel Cotto ahead of Zab Judah 97-91. That was pretty much the consensus score at the time of that stoppage. Robin Taylor, 2 title fights, first notable fight. So you have 2 extremely inexperienced judges and 1 only moderately experienced judge among the 3 who will be picking the winner here. And we remind you that in a somewhat similar scenario in December on the undercard of Miguel Cotto versus Shane Mosley, we saw one of the most heatedly criticized and excoriated decisions of recent years in a fight in which Armando Santa Cruz of California seemed easily to beat Joel Casamayor, and Casamayor got the victory over him by split decision.
There are bad decisions and there are outright robberies, and this would rank as an outright robbery if Golota doesn't win it.
I agree. You agree, Emmanuel?
I agree definitely on that. And you know, he's been in enough drama here, in particular this place here at the Garden, that he has to get this decision here.
Final CompuBox numbers will show you how both fighters persevered throughout the fight, and how over the long course of the fight, Andrew Golota's greater accuracy added up. 251 out of 691. He landed 64 more punches than did Mollo. He threw 169 more punches than did Mollo. Same connect percentage, but basically Golota's punches were, for the most part, more effective, except for some swinging right hands where Mollo was able to shut up Golota's left eye. Power shots, Golota with a 50-punch edge in landed power shots. Michael Buffer's ready with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 old-fashioned heavyweight rounds, we go to the scorecards. Bob Gilson scores it 116-110. Tom Schreck 116-112. Robin Taylor 118-109. All to the winner by unanimous decision, now unified champion, Andrew Golota.
41st victory of the foul pole's career. And as we said, by one governing body's lights, it sets him up as a potential opponent for the champion in that particular governing body's eyes. Down the road in 2008, Andrew Golota's had several chances in the past, more than several, numerous chances to win heavyweight belts. Maybe he'll get yet another one at age 40. Well, it's been an